Okay, hello. It is 5:03 p.m. on Monday, January 22nd, 2024. This is a regular board meeting for the Monroe School District. Present are myself, President Bumpus, we have Director Barnes, Director Etzkorn, Director Whitfield, as well as student representatives Laura Wittenberg and Sophia Willett, Superintendent Sean Woodward, district leadership team, school district staff, as well as members of the community. Director Campbell will not be in attendance for this evening's meeting. Members of the public can log into the regular board meeting using the Zoom link attached to tonight's agenda that is found on the board docs website. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to tonight's meeting. We are happy to have you join us. All comments during tonight's meeting are audio recorded and will be available online on our website. This is in addition to the written minutes. Please understand that while it may appear the board is moving quickly on important matters, there have been previous discussions on these issues either in earlier meetings or in board workshops, which are also open public meetings. Each director has had ample time to study the issues, ask appropriate questions, and obtain satisfactory answers from the superintendent, his staff, or through outside research. Those wishing to address the board during public comments must turn in a public comment form prior to the start of the meeting at 5 p.m. Any forms submitted after the meeting has started will be held for the next meeting to address the board at that time. Okay, moving on to agenda item 1.05, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
I move that the Monroe School District Board of Directors approves the agenda dated January 22nd, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda. The only addition is the agenda item. So let me rephrase that motion. Sorry. There is a motion that the Monroe School District Board of Directors approves the agenda, the modified agenda dated January 22nd, 2024. All in favor, raise your hand. The agenda item has passed 4-0. Agenda item 2.01, school board recognition. And I'll
All
go
right. Oh, sorry.
Superintendent Woodward.
Sorry about that. Jumped the
No
gun a
worries.
little bit. So were you aware it's School Board Recognition Month? Because I'm sure you've been showered with gifts to recognize all the work you've been putting in. If not, I do have a proclamation that I'd like to read that Governor James Lee asked for us to share with our school boards. So here is the official proclamation. Whereas the mission of Washington's public school system is to ensure that all students achieve at high levels and possess the knowledge and skills to be responsible members of a democratic society and enjoy productive and satisfying lives. And whereas Washington's 1,477 locally elected school boards of directors and 9 elected educational service district boards are the core of the public education governance system in our state, serve more than 1.1 million students, have a combined annual budget of over $15 billion and employ approximately 120,000 people. And whereas school boards play a crucial role in promoting student learning and achievement by creating a vision, establishing policies and budgets, and setting clear standards of accountability for all involved. And whereas school board directors are directly accountable to residents in their districts and regions, serving as a vital link between members of the community and their schools. And whereas school boards and ESDs provide a passionate voice of advocacy for public schools and the welfare of school children. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize school board directors as outstanding public servants and champions for public education, the governor of the state has proclaimed this month to be School Board Recognition Month. So I know that I can say this on behalf of lots of people, that the work you do does not go unnoticed. It is deeply appreciated. I don't know if you want to hear these statistics or not, but I was thinking, well, I don't know if you really are sure of what you're signing up for when you run for board, of course. And now you know, James is getting there. But if you've been on the board for the past 4 years, that would mean here in Monroe that you've, most of you come to most meetings, so at least 95% of them. That means you've attended 122 board meetings over the 4 years, which means a lot of things. It means at times sleepless nights and wondering what kind of decisions you're going to make to best serve kids and families and staff. Um, just simply getting to a meeting and having it on your calendar, the stress associated with that, and winding down after sometimes contentious board meetings, and while all the while having the needs of our kids at the forefront of your minds. I know that uh, by working with you as just as people, so I really appreciate that. Uh, there are countless events outside of these board meetings that you're representing the school district that does not go unnoticed. And then just, again, all the reflection that you're doing about the tasks that you have at hand that is very challenging, more so than any that I've been in education for 32 years. These are some of the hottest seats in as far as elected officials go in a community, and you're doing a fantastic job. So thank you. I appreciate that you're all willing to serve. And we have certificates, and taped underneath the certificates are keys to new cars for each and every one of you. So thank you. That's right.
Donating. Anyone else? No, thank you so much, Superintendent Woodward. This is awesome. Yeah, I don't think any of us expected or anticipated uh, the many opportunities we've had for, I think, just growth. And so I'm excited to continue to serve here, and I think that we're all stepping into this year, especially with a little more wisdom and excitement as we move forward, especially with you here. Yeah, so very excited. Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item 3.01. We have consideration of donations. I'll go ahead and go through these really quickly because they're awesome. So we have Seattle Sounders Football Club donated a taping table with the value of $75 to the Monroe High School. We have Seattle Sounders Football Club donated a hydroculator with a value of $200 to the Monroe High School. Seattle Sounders Football Club donated miscellaneous sports medicine equipment with a value of $400 to the Monroe High School. Super awesome. Thank you so much for supporting our athletes and their well-being at the high school. Thank you, Seattle Sounders Football Club. Moving on to agenda item 3.02, we have student representatives, and we have Sophia and Laura.
Thank you. So, can you hear me? Okay. Today I will highlight the parent partnership program. So all of Sky Valley is a parent partnership, but the original program is the parent partnership program. So this one is the most popular program at Sky Valley, and it offers over 300 classes K through 12. Some of the examples are hands-on construction, conspiracy theory, cultural cuisine, food forest, metalworking, and woodworking community service. Some of the events that we have at Sky Valley coming up are the family potluck on February 21st, a career exploration taught by our counselors on February 2nd. The ACT spaghetti feed is rescheduled for February 14th from last Thursday because it was canceled due to the snow. And then the ESS pasta lunch is on January 24th. Also, I just wanted to mention that the Washington State PAGE program applications are open for 2024. These are like kids age 14 through 16, I think. And it's at the state capitol, and they just assist I think they like do deliveries or something throughout the capitol. So last year with ACT, we went to the state capitol for one of our field trips, and we talked to the pages, and it looked like something that I would have really liked, and I wish I would have known about it when I was younger. But yeah, I encourage anybody that thinks it would be somewhat interesting just to look into that.
Okay, I was gonna give a little update. So around 80 environmental science and AP environmental science students partnered with, I'm gonna say this name wrong, the Stillaguamish tribe to plant around 150 trees and shrubs at the site along the Stillaguamish River. I don't know how to say that. It's kind of hard to say. And then recently, DECA students attended the local Area 1 conference, and 3 of them received the top awards in the top 3 categories. And then ASB will be hosting a Spirit Week next week to end the semester off, which ends the 31st. And then after that, there will be Tolo, which will be 70s disco theme.
Any questions? For student?
When's the talent show tryout?
I know there was one last week, but I want to say Thursday. Oh, tomorrow. Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So my kids are actually doing the parent partnership program at Sky Valley and have had such a fun experience with it. It's been a learning experience for mommy, but I feel like I'm getting better at it. My kids are much better at it than I am, but it's been really neat. Kobe, you love it, right? Yeah, Kobe loves it. And so that's just an awesome program. Sophia, I was curious about how, I know that there were some events at the high school for like MLK celebration.
Mhm.
I was curious what that assembly was like with Christian.
I unfortunately had to leave during that because of some social issues, but I heard it went well, and I've seen him talk a lot, and I know he usually gets pretty deep, which I like about him because I think sometimes when there's like presentations or assemblies, sometimes certain things aren't brought up or certain teachers aren't willing to talk about certain things, and he has always brought up the more, I guess, things that teachers are afraid to say. So I
Cool,
like when he
thank you.
visits.
Thank you. Any other questions?
What are they doing for Spirit Week next week? Do you know, Sophia?
I think it's mostly like bring a blanket and pajama day since we're ending the semester, and they just wanted to like it for it to be relaxing so kids can end the semester not so stressed.
I think there's a loteria night in there too somewhere because yeah, there's some really good prizes. I'm taking my kids just so that maybe they can win some prizes and they seem really excited about that. But yeah, I forget what night it is. But yeah, that seems, I mean, it looks like you guys have some really good events up there. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Okay, agenda item 3.03. Oh, and it looks like we have no public comments. So we'll go on to agenda item 4.01, consideration of policy 2230, transition to kindergarten program, and this is our second reading.
David's here if you had any questions before you, if you were going to take a vote or you had some questions or concerns, he can come on up and respond to those.
Let's make a motion and then we'll go into discussion. Okay. All right, is there a motion?
I move that Monroe School District Board of Directors adopt policy 2230, transition to kindergarten program.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second that the Monroe School District Board of Directors adopt policy 2230, transition to kindergarten program. Discussion?
I'd like to have David explain where we're entering into this kind of new phase of transitional kindergarten. If you could just give us an overview of that and how that's different for the school district.
And as discussed at the last board meeting, so we initially started with our transition to kindergarten program 3 years ago with one program at Frylands Elementary, and have had a really big outpouring and a lot of interest from our community. The program's always been completely full, so this summer we were able to secure space at Frank Wagner Elementary in a classroom and open up a second classroom. And so we have two transition to kindergarten programs. The hope is, as depending on, well, number one, if the program continues to be funded, which we're kind of in the legislative session right now. But if our community shows that extra interest, that we would hopefully look to secure additional space in either the current schools that it's in or in additional schools, and look to continue to build that out to meet the needs of as many students as we can serve.
How does that work in conjunction with the ECAP program that we toured for the VOA?
With transition to kindergarten program, it is one of the requirements for the program is that students don't have access to other preschool programs. So if kids are already enrolled in ECAP, then they can't be dual enrolled in ECAP and transition to kindergarten program.
Thank you, David. Okay, everyone ready? Okay, all in favor? That the Monroe School, I'll repeat it, that the Monroe School District Board of Directors adopt policy 2230, transition to kindergarten program, raise your hand. The agenda item has passed 4-0. Okay, moving on to agenda item 4.02, consideration of revisions to policy 5400, personal leaves. And this is first reading.
All right, so this is a pretty easy policy, just going through and cleaning up some of the policies that we have. There were only a couple of typos that needed to be fixed under unpaid leaves. Here, you should see that denoted in green on your page. And then the other is just striking out reference to the governor's proclamation, which has expired. Obviously, this is during the pandemic. So those are the only changes to that policy.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you, Superintendent Woodward. Okay, moving on to consent agenda. Agenda item 5.06. Is there a motion?
I move that the Monroe School District Board of Directors approve all items as listed and presented in the consent agenda dated January 22nd, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second,
There's a motion and a second that the Monroe School District Board of Directors approve all items as listed and presented in the consent agenda dated January 22nd, 2024. All in favor, raise your hand. The agenda item has passed 4-0. Moving on to agenda item 6.01, superintendent update.
All right, so first Jesse's going to get something rolling for us here. And I should have Laura and Sophia, I should have thanked you as well when I read the governor's proclamation. While that was for the elected official side, I think it's really impressive that you applied to be a student representative. You went through a competitive process, you were selected. And if you serve for a year, it means likely you're to be going to 25 to 30 meetings, spending your time doing the same things that the board members are doing. So that doesn't go unnoticed. There's no way I would have the ability when I was in high school to do what you're doing. And I appreciate your confidence and your level of preparedness and just wanting to do it. So thank you to the two of you as well. All right, so last week, we had another opportunity for our board members to get up to speed with some of the work we're doing with Solution Tree to develop a PLC culture within our school district. The focus of that meeting was on the three big ideas of the PLC, which I'll go over a bit of that this evening. The next session is on February 21st, if you're available. There are two Zoom options, either at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock. They're 75 minutes, pretty short. And the Solution Tree, I think it'll be Janelle Keating, one of their representatives, former superintendent of White River. She's going to outline the role board members play in the PLC process. If you can't attend, it's okay. Molly went to the last one. I'll make sure that I do a recap and whoever attends can help me do a recap at the board meeting following the one on the 21st. So this is just a little bit about what we learned last week. The focus again was on the three big ideas of PLC. It outlined what districts in this training cohort that we are in are aspiring towards over the next 4 years or so. Two of our district office leaders, Shannon Tarek and Jen Murphy, they facilitated an activity with our admin team a couple weeks back tied to developing this 5-year PLC roadmap that will be in alignment with the three big ideas of a PLC. So basically, what do we need to do over the next 4.5 years or so to be a model district? So soon, hopefully within a month or so, we can bring that 5-year plan to you all so you can see, hey, what is this PLC thing? what's going to happen every year until we get to this spot that we learned about last week. So I'm going to go over some of the PLC big ideas. The first one being, if we are a model PLC district where we have developed a true PLC culture, that there will be a clear commitment to learning for all students. That would mean that when our teachers are in their collaborative teams, they have answered the 4 critical questions of student learning, including what do we want all kids to learn? They are crystal clear about the most important things in every course, grade, and content area. There are not only standards, there are proficiency skills for each standard that students must achieve to master each essential standard. Those proficiency skills would be front and center on all of our documents, so people would see what happens at first grade, second grade, third grade in all of our course and content areas. You can go to the next one, Jess. These teams will also answer question number 2. How do we know students are learning about the agreed upon essential standards or have mastered them? So every school will have a process for carefully monitoring student learning that you all as board members will know about. There'll be an awful lot of communication tied to that. There will be a process for what if students aren't learning those things. It will not be just up to the individual classroom teachers to ensure that students are learning those things. That would happen, of course, hopefully during tier 1 where most kids get it, but we'll have a process or a pyramid of interventions in every one of our schools so kids aren't falling through the cracks. And finally, we will, as a district, have answered the 4th question. What about kids who already have it? How will we enrich and extend learning for those students? The second big idea is just a clear evidence of a collaborative culture. This is a little redundant, but number 1, everyone's organized into a team. Every one of our teachers, they're working interdependently, not independent contractors. They're all working together on behalf of making sure students meet those standards. There's time within the contractual day weekly to collaborate and do this work. Currently, we have an early release every Friday. It's not all PLC time. You may or may not know this as a board. Every other week is dedicated to collaborative teams. And then there's teacher directed every other Friday as well. So at some point we'll want to get to its weekly collaboration time to do this work really well. And teachers are using that time to really dig in and engage in collective inquiry. We're constantly looking at the impact of our instruction on student learning, and we're doing this that constant loop. And when we're not getting the results that we want to get, if we were all 5th grade teachers, we're learning from each other. Jen might have an idea that was working really well based on assessment data. Jen's teaching us her strategies that she's using so we can apply them tomorrow in our classrooms. The last big idea is just to focus on results throughout the system. You know, we have identified SMART goals as a district, and all of our schools have identified SMART goals. Not all of our collaborative teams have done so yet. We're working towards that. Again, teams are regularly looking and analyzing those results, again, going back to the impact their instruction is having on that learning. And the last 2, teachers are getting frequent feedback about impact. They know clearly if their teaching is making the kind of difference that students are getting at standards, and that we see student achievement clearly improving in everywhere across our system. So what can you expect from us? By the end of this year, I won't outline it now, but the process that we're going through with our administrators, we'll have it clearly outlined the next 4 years. By every June, what's going to happen. And you should also be seeing, you should expect this as board, we're not waiting 4.5 years to see improvement in student learning. As we make these tweaks, I expect, you should expect, we all expect that we're seeing some change in student learning as well. 4.5 years from now, people will be visiting the Monroe School District because they'll be blown away with the kind of student learning results that they're seeing, just like they do in the White River School District and other districts across the state. So yeah, so it's a lot of work. I think, I don't know if you were here, James, or not, when you decided you agreed on the contract with Solution Tree or not. This is that ongoing work. It's a heavy lift, but they are technical experts that are helping us every step of the way. So it's been really good so far. I don't know if Molly, you have anything to add from that.
Well, I didn't bring my notes for it. I was gonna save that for another time because I know sometimes I can get heavy in the board comments, but basically in the PLC books that we were given, that the Monroe Public School Foundation generously donated to each of us board members. It goes through the entire first chapter is all about what PLC work looks like, how we can contribute and what's the word I'm looking for? Support it as a board, right? As the top leaders, what that really looks like. And diving into this last week, some of the things that stuck with me were PLC meetings weekly, making sure that teachers have material from the last 5 days that they're showing and that they're discussing. And year over year, okay, this year, this is how these students did. How did they do last year? What are the things that are the same? Is there improvement in some areas? Okay, if there is an improvement, maybe I need to go back and relook at how I'm teaching this because something's not clicking, with these students. And so it really is feedback upon feedback. And I love the fact that there's so much collaboration just with our building leaders, with our teachers, all of that. And I'm really excited about it. These trainings, like Superintendent Woodward said, there's 75 minutes. There's a chance to collaborate, to listen to other superintendents, other school board directors, and I'm really learning a lot. There's a lot of knowledge there and I love it. I just sort of take it all in and it's like, give me more. So if you have time on the next one, I really would encourage you to do it. The last two have been fabulous. So
Thanks. That's all I have.
I just have one question. I'm curious, I know that last time when I was attending more consistently or the PLC meetings, I know that time or finding time to do this work in our buildings and for our teachers is hard because, well, they're already there and then, then there's Fridays. So has that changed or are we, I guess, better supporting that time or that need?
Yeah, we are in a handful of ways. The only time, things that we can do and still comply with the contract that we have with our association is to provide, we've been providing some sub days. So, which is hard on folks, I know, but for teacher teams to get together to work within their collaborative teams. We're also going to open up conversations again with our association on problem solving and have an interest-based conversation around, okay, we all want more time. How can we work together as an association and a district administration on solving this internally first before we come to you and say, hey, can we go back out to our community to ask for maybe a little bit more time each week? But yeah, it's going to be an ongoing conversation this year for sure.
Yeah, I've been invited to a couple and it's fascinating. It's really neat to see so much experience. I think I went to a kindergarten one last year and it was, I don't know, like 5 or 6 decades of experience between the 3 kindergarten teachers. And so it was just neat to have them go through each child and look for supports and how to set each child up for success according to need. And so that was really neat. I was able to also go to a 3rd grade one over at Frank, and that was really neat as well. So yeah. Anyway, thinking to myself, I need to go again because those
Yeah.
are just really neat to be in and just so much experience and wisdom in the room. It's always cool to be around. So
Yeah,
thank you for that update.
Yeah, you bet. I think what we have an interest in doing is finding a way, obviously prepping a team as far as knowing that we're going to come in and asking for their permission and asking them not to use student names. I'd love to videotape some of that.
Yeah.
I think our parents would really appreciate to see what kind of powerful work is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then to your point, school improvement and increasing student learning, the answer lies within the Monroe School District. The people have the knowledge and expertise and it just expands during those meetings. So yeah, it's time well spent.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 7.01 and board reports and or comments. Directors? All right, Director
Okay.
Barnes.
All right. I'm going to brag on our students a little bit this week. So This last weekend, we had the JROTC drill competition at Snohomish High School. And CO Joshua Cruz and his 12 cadets took first place, which is just incredible. So Sarah Perry, one of the counselors at Sky Valley, she sent video and I got to see some of the updates of when it happened, but just a huge congratulations to that group. We have 2 Sky Valley students who are also in that. So just a shout out to them. We had to jump through a few hoops this year to kind of make that happen, but with Superintendent Woodward's hard work on that, we were able to iron out those kinks. So our students have worked really hard and they took first place. So next up this last weekend, we had our cheer squad that took first place in game day routine. And they have qualified for state, which is incredible. So February 2nd and 3rd is state, and they're going to be going for game day and for tumbling routines. So huge congratulations to our cheer squad up at Monroe High School. And then I have another Sky Valley brag. So we have a student, Maverick Craddock, and he does Irish dance, and he placed 15th in the world for Irish dance, which is a huge feat. And so I just wanted to give a congratulations and say well done. Then we have Bearcats girls wrestling. We have, they had the Lady Hawk Invitational, and we had 3 Bearcats who placed. We had Audrey George, who took second place. Haley Carswell took second place, and Regina Huerta Jimenez took 5th place. So congratulations, ladies, on your achievements there. Then we have, oh, I've got to break out this since I don't have the computer. Okay, I've got pictures here to help me because otherwise I was not going to get this all right. Okay, so we have the athletic department, along with the WIAA, recognizes and reward teams that maintain a high collective academic standard. And so these are the teams from fall sports with an average GPA of 3.0 to 3.49. We have our fall sports teams who earned the Outstanding Team Award, our volleyball C team with a 3.88, girls varsity soccer with a 3.717, boys varsity tennis with 3.69, girls varsity volleyball with 3.655, girls JV soccer with 3.633, and boys cross country with 3.511. We also have some fall teams that earned the Distinguished Team Award, and those are JV volleyball with 3.368, girls swim and dive with 3.494, girls cross country with 3.263, and varsity football with 3.044. So I just want to do a huge congratulations to all of our student athletes who work so hard on and off the field. We also have the fall Westco first team all league athletes. And this was a while ago. I'm a little bit behind on this, but I wanted to make sure that these students got recognized. So for boys tennis, we have Zach Overbay, Justice Funston, Jacob Schaefer, and Miles Baumchen. Congratulations to you. For football, we have Blake Springer, Ryan Miller, Mason Davis, Isaiah Canizales, Boyd Anyi, Eli Nugent, Brennan Shepard, Ireland Guthrie, Begina Toa, and Nick Mauser. Congratulations to all of you boys as well. And for girls swim and dive, we have Kame Hartway, Rowan Grant, Emerson Hartway, Sabrina Cody, and Madeline Clark. And last but not least, volleyball, we have Shanera Peebles. Congratulations to all of our athletes. I know how hard it is to get a first team all league from the time that I was in high school and I did that. So I know that that's no small feat. I also wanted to make sure that I gave a shout out to the 3A West Coast South Football Coach of the Year, which was our very own Scott Darrow this year. So congratulations, Coach. Thanks for being a Bearcat and for investing and putting so much into our students. Also, I would encourage you, there is a boys basketball game on Tuesday night, tomorrow night. I am planning on being there. The games have been incredible. I got to watch the boys game against Mount Lake Terrace. Now that was an incredibly intense game. I wasn't expecting that. I'd heard games versus Snohomish were kind of intense, and that's what I'd experienced. But man, we had a player who got hit in the first quarter and had to leave for stitches, and by golly, he came back and played the fourth quarter. And I could not. It was quite incredible. And I told Martin that I was super thankful that he was there, and just thanked him for supporting our athletes and doing what he does with him and his team, because that's not something I had or experienced in high school sports. So we are incredibly lucky to have Martin and his team to help support our athletes, and they did an incredible job that day assisting our injured Bearcat and all of our injured athletes when they need them. So yeah, I would encourage you, get out, enjoy some of our fine athletics. Like I say, it's always a good time, and you meet some incredible members of the community. So yeah, and I think that's all I have this week. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks, Director Barnes. Any other events?
Nope, just I guess a thank you from the Monroe Public Schools Foundation and from Superintendent Woodward for the proclamation reading at the beginning, and really appreciate the certificate.
Well, I'm going to Olympia tomorrow. The sub-agencies that I belong to, 160 of them throughout the state, have an advocacy day. And I have times I'm going to meet with Representative Gorner from the 12th district, Mike Steele from the 12th district, our Senator Brad Hawkins from the 12th, and Caroline Eslick from the 39th. The point of this, we don't have any legislation before them that we're advocating, but it's develop relationships and get to know them and explain about the business that we're in. And also have an opportunity to talk about educational priorities. The main educational priorities, which are slimmed down from probably 20 that are on the list. One is lifting the special education cap to 17.25. I won't read the bill numbers, there are all kinds of them. Increase funding to cover the cost for paraeducators, reducing or eliminating financial penalties for non-substantial errors with safety net applications, increasing student access for free meals served at public schools, and providing adequate and predictable student transportation. You know, just to follow up on what Superintendent Woodward was saying, is that the school directors in the 295 districts in the state control 43% of the state's budget. So that's I don't know how many billions that is, but that's a lot. And then to add on the number of meetings that we attend, I have contemplated and thought and considered in my thoughts thousands of hours in between meetings. And as I've told Sean and as I've told Kim, you guys are so lucky that I don't talk about what's been on my mind and what I'm fired up about. I calm it down, I drill it down, and I get it succinct. So thank you for the proclamation, and thank you for the school foundation for the nice card and gift card.
Okay. I don't really have a whole lot. I'm just looking forward to going on Loteria night. It's this week. It's the 26th. And I think it's like 5 p.m. up at the high school. They should have some really good prizes. It's like bingo, basically, except you fill out the entire card. My kids have learned random Spanish words that way. And so I'll tell you a little quick story. It's a funny one. So my son plays soccer. He's 13 and he doesn't speak Spanish fluently, but he's around a lot of Spanish speakers. So I said, you know, buddy, if someone's really picking on you, you know, use a loteria word. So he comes back into the car and he's like, Mom, today I did it. And he said, someone was picking on me. So I said, you know what? You're a nopal. That's a cactus. That's what he called someone, a cactus. but it was a strong Spanish word, so I couldn't be mad. So if you want to come and learn some Spanish words, loteria, use it to defend yourself, to call someone a cactus, you're welcome to come with the high school. It is 5:43 p.m. and tonight's meeting is adjourned. Thank you.